There's this feeling I've been wanting to articulate for so long, and it has to do with monogamy and straightness and queerness, but honestly, mostly not just monogamy, but the idea of identifying around who you partner with. And it's sort of driving me insane because I hate it. I hate being identified based on who I would be partnered with when I've spent most of my life single. And now that I'm in like a very intentional single era of my life, it's like, do I identify as monogamous? I'm single. Like, it's me. It's on my own. And it just bothers me that people want me to identify in a state of being that I am not in. Some of this is me kind of struggling with, I've always wondered if I'm bisexual, although I haven't had like a huge drive to really be with other women. There's like an occasional woman that will really pique my interest, but for the most part, I'm attracted to men. But then I'm not even looking to be with a man or end up with a man. 'Cause I just don't think that way about myself anymore. I don't think about who I'm going to end up with. I've lived, I'm starting to become middle-aged, and when you look back at your life and you're like, well, most of my life I've been single. I mean, why would I keep waiting for a state of change to finally identify as, when it's been me with me? It's been me and my friends. It's been me and my family. I go on dates, I meet people, I socialize. But I'm mostly looking just to, have fun and get to know people. I'm not necessarily looking for a specific type of relationship. I've played around with the idea of being poly. And it's hard. Sometimes I honestly don't fully even know what I want. And I like playing around, and why should I identify as that? I'm just so sick of like, I feel like straightness specifically really relies on partnership as part of your identity, whereas queerness, like being a lesbian or being gay, doesn't necessarily rely on that, like that you would be partnered. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. It just, straightness is so like defensive. It's like, oh no, I'm straight. Like, don't worry, I want to be with a man and I will be with a man. And it's like, I have an aunt who, she got divorced and decided to never be with anyone again. And it's like, do we identify her as straight? She's with herself. She's with her family. She's with her friends. And asking someone to identify themselves based on who they're partnered with, I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of how we focus so much on who we will end up with romantically. I am sick of romance being the center of everyone's lives. I'm sick of, having to say goodbye to friends once they get married. I'm sick of having to say goodbye I mean, I don't become friends with people like this anymore, but like when they get into a relationship, it's like, all right, see you later. I guess that was fun being your friend. Now you're with your man and I'm never going to hear from you again. I find the idea of merging all your finances and dedicating your whole life to your romantic partner, I find that to be so weird. Like, it's nice to see that society is growing past that. Romance is fun. I love romance. I you know, anytime I get to experience it, it is a fun time. I just think it's psychotic to center our whole lives around it. I feel like what I'm saying isn't even hitting it. It's just like, why is romance the most important thing? It almost feels lame. It's almost like we're so obsessed with it that it's making it lame. It's making it a little pathetic. And I don't want that for myself. I'm just sick of identifying it. You know, people want to know. I hang out in a lot of queer spaces and I identify as non-binary. I have a lot of, there's a lot of tension and issues inside myself because I'm like, am I, encroaching on a space that's not for me? Because honestly, I mostly am attracted to men, but I'm mostly single and I am non-binary. So I feel like I just naturally become friends with queer people. It's never something that I've necessarily, sought out in like a fetishistic way. I just end up being friends with queer people, and I'd like to think it's because like I just naturally attract that since I am non-binary. But I go through a lot of, I guess you'd say, angst, being like, I don't know if I deserve to be here because like I guess maybe I'm bisexual, but honestly, this starts going into transness too, and I've thought this for a long time. I think that transness is it is the next wave of like the unity coming to human consciousness, because transness is different from gay and lesbian in that it doesn't necessitate you defining yourself based on who you're with. It's just about you. It's about like how you show the world who you are. And I see this in non-binary. Like, I'm non-binary. I don't need another person to like affirm that in me. I don't need a romantic partner to like display to the world to show that I'm non-binary. Trans people don't need that either. This just and I love that. Like, and the coming out of transness in the coming out of transness in the, like on the global stage in the last 20 years feels like the next wave of like humanity sort of unraveling what it thinks of itself and stepping away from defining yourself by your husband or your wife. It's like, it's about the individual. It's exciting, I get so I'm in this moment in my life, I'm single. I can't define myself based off of a man that I'm with because he's not here. And I could have a boyfriend if I wanted to. I'd have to, all the prospects that I've had in the last couple years, there have been some exciting ones, but even the ones that were the most exciting really just weren't for me. And, if I demeaned myself and I said, oh, well, I need a man, I could have settled down with one of them, but like, I could have never done that. Like, I'm not a good liar. But, you know, if I had to, if we lived in different times, yeah, I could. But I don't have to do that. I don't have to define myself by who I'm with romantically. I just find it so yucky and lame, and you know, I comment on YouTube videos, and all the stuff about is having a boyfriend embarrassing right now. A lot of videos have been coming up about that, and you know, I posted some comment on a video, and I was like, the only embarrassing thing about having a boyfriend is when you put him above yourself and everyone that you care about, and he becomes your number one priority. And someone responded to my comment and was like, well, I don't know. They were going on and on, but it was like, well, I mean, if you have a boyfriend, they should be your number one priority. And I think this is such a funny comment because in a way it seems, you know, obvious. That's how people act. Like your romantic partner comes first before anyone else. They're going to be the most important thing. I find that to be psychotic. How am I going to I just find it so sad when like women who've had their friends and their family, people who care about them, riding with them for 10 plus years, and they meet a man and get married within like 3 years, and that person is the most important person? Like, why? I just want to know why. Maybe I don't ever want to understand why. And I feel very judgmental of people who have that mentality. It makes me sad. I guess it's not for me, and that's for them. But I just could never dedicate myself against all these other people that I care about. You know, I have friends who are married who don't act like that. They are able to keep a balanced social life, and like, I appreciate them. They, you know, they're the type of people that I want to be around. And whenever I'm in a relationship, I try to model that. I'm not going to go and disappear for 3 to 6 months because I started dating someone new. I mean, I did that in my early 20s, and I got over that really quick because I'm the type of person that if we're in love, like, we're going to be hanging out with my friends and all the people that I love because I want to be surrounded by the people that I love. And whether you're gay or straight, like, I get sad thinking about the idea of, like, you're with someone now, so that's the most important person in your life. I just don't know. I mean, I have siblings that are, like, my children, you know? And, like, I would do so much for them. But at the end of the day, like, neither one of them is the most important person in my life. Like, for me, it's about the network of people that you have around you, you know, your family, your chosen family, your friends. All of it for me is important to have it all together. I want all of that to be cohesive. I could never, I don't know. It's like supremely concerning and worrying thinking about people who really just, like, I don't know, it's lame. That's what this whole conversation is about. Like, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? It's lame when you are so obsessed with romance that you make this person the most important part of your life. And the reason I think it's lame is because romantic relationships, they all hit a spot where it's like, kind of, you know, it's kind of boring and it's kind of normal, and you get into a routine, and, you know, I have those same dynamics with my friends. Like, life isn't always like popping off and super interesting. There are boring parts of life, and I walk through those times with my friends, and I think that people put romance on such this pedestal that when they hit the boring times, they're like, I've given up everything for this. This is supposed to be entertaining me constantly, and I'm bored. And it's like, yeah, because romance is just one face of God. It's just one part of life. You know, giving up everything for something that's just normal, that is lame.